You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this. And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with D.C., and we're going to clean it up real quick.
That was President Trump earlier this week vowing that the administration's D.C. crime crackdown will become a beacon for other cities to follow, naming Los Angeles and Chicago as Democratic-run cities particularly hit hard with crime. For more, let's bring in the former sheriff for L.A. County, Alex Villanueva, and Democratic Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on. You guys are great to talk about the situation, the reality on the ground in your cities as it pertains to crime, illegal immigration. We had earlier in the show the D.C. Police Union Chairman, Greg Pemberton, talking about he believes that crime, despite what the stats show, which is a decrease, that it is detrimental, so detrimental of a crime issue that it required a federal response. So, Alex, let's start with you in L.A., how you see things there. Would a federal response be warranted or welcomed there?
Well, the question was welcome or not is one thing, but the issue is you have the penal code of the state of California. So federal intervention enforcing state and local law is not going to be, they're not suited to do that thing. Washington, D.C. is a very particular situation when you can federalize the local police department because of the special nature of the D.C. not being a state controlled by the U.S. government. It's kind of a different animal, but however, this problem is the same. When you have a huge, massive exodus of law enforcement personnel, the Sheriff's Department, LAPD, they're both missing about a quarter of their workforce each. That's over 4,000 sworn officers gone. And you have, again, the problem that's going again, street takeovers, robberies, looting, everything, this wanton crime that is happening, you see unfold in front of your cameras, but local politicians tell you, oh, there's nothing to worry about here because crime is going down. Who are you going to believe, them or your lying eyes?
Yeah, and I spent, Alex, this past week talking to actual crime victims in D.C. Their stories of tragedy and sorrow really contradict those stats. Alderman Lopez, let me ask you, with respect to Chicago, obviously you also, like D.C., like L.A., down in officers, rising crime, people in the streets say something different than what numbers say there. But I also want to show you something that your mayor said about President Trump mentioning potential National Guard takeover. He says if President Trump wants to help make Chicago safer, he can start by releasing the funds for the anti-violence programs that have been critical for our work to drive down crime and violence. What do you say?
Well, Brandon Johnson has never met a government program that he didn't want to fund and then fund in triplicate. The fact of the matter is that statistics can be manipulated, and we've seen that across this country when it comes to many of the major crime stats that we keep track of. But the answer, Griff, is real simple. While Donald Trump is putting the National Guard on alert and bringing the law enforcement agencies of the federal government to bear on Washington, D.C., many of those same agencies we could absolutely use in the city of Chicago to go after those cartel terrorist organizations that are operating the drug trades here in the city of Chicago, coordinating with the CCP to bring fentanyl into the city of Chicago, bringing those human traffickers to justice with the FBI, DEA, ATF, and all the rest of the alphabet group from Washington. That's what we need right now. And none of us should be opposed to that because we know that the revolving door of justice here in Cook County, as in many Democratic cities, allows for repeat offenders to be let go before the ink's dry on their paperwork. It's not the same if you charge them federally and let the U.S. attorney go after them and hold them accountable based on the federal code.
Yeah, and, you know, to your point about those federal officers out there, Alex, we had just outside Governor Gavin Newsom's event press conference, you had the ops commander at large for California, Scott Bovino, out there with ICE arresting illegal criminal aliens, I believe one of which was a confirmed gang member, but yet the governor was pretty upset about it. Here's what Newsom said. Listen here.
It's pretty sick and pathetic, and it just said everything you need to know, the setting that we're under. That they chose the time, manner, and place to send their district director outside right when we're about to have this press conference. She said, everything you know about the authoritarian tendencies of the President of the United States.
But yet, Alex, we understand from Op-at-Large Commander Bovino that there were criminals and it was targeted. What do you say?
Well, I mean, the truth spot of Governor Newsom, it's incredible because he signed into law every single piece of legislation that was against law enforcement coming out of Sacramento. He had no problem, no matter how bizarre it was. He put a signature on it, which actually led to the lawlessness we're seeing on the streets of today. So now he's upset about someone actually enforcing a law, and it's kind of bizarre when you think about it.
All right, I'll just give you the last word, Alderman Lopez, in about 20 seconds. What do you think the solution is? Is Trump doing the right thing?
I believe that Donald Trump is trying to do the right thing in terms of keeping the quality of life in our cities at the forefront. That we can't continue to enable bad behavior, enable criminals, and wrap our arms around them and support them while ignoring the victims. Someone has to finally take the reins and bring common sense back. It would have been nice if the Democratic Party could have done it in our own cities, but sadly, we've been beaten to the punch by Donald Trump, and we should help him and applaud him for doing that.
All right, Sheriff Villanueva, Alderman Lopez, always great to talk to you. Thank you for taking time.
Thank you, Griff.
You got it.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.